Hi and welcome to this video of data and information. This video will help you to understand the difference between data and information. At the end of this video, you will be able to explain the data and information and explain that how to measure data. So we'll start with a case study, and this case is about Indian Railways. As we have seen, Indian Railways is one of the biggest organizations which has started its journey in 1853 and in which it traveled for about 34 kilometers. Since then, it has proven itself one of the largest organizations in India. So therefore, by 2008, Indian Railways is the fourth largest network of rail tracks in the world, standing at about 64,000 kilometers. And Indian Railways is not only moves passengers, which to some extent about 20 million of them daily, it also carries very large amount of freight, and it is considered to be the business and industrial lifeline of the country because rail transport is cheaper for freight. Now let us look at the very important statistics of Indian Railways. As per the data provided in 2007. Total length of the rail tracks is 64,015 kilometers. Number of railway stations is staggering 7,000. Total number of passengers that travel on Indian Railways is 20 million. Total number of freight carried daily 2 million tons. Total number of employees 1.6 million. Total number of wagons and coaches 250,000. Total number of locomotives 8,000 and total number of passenger trains is 9,000. So that is quite a handful of information which one has to maintain. So for an organization, it's very difficult to maintain movement and record the transactional details about the data that this continuous movement of trains produce. So now if I could see the passenger movement, how it increased since 1950 to 2006, it increased from huge number. As we have seen, it is million, it's a big number that has been created. Now to record their details, capture their details and maintain them, it's quite a difficult task. So therefore, if we talk about the passenger reservation system provided by IRCTC, so we see in this transaction there are many data that is captured and finally information gets produced out of it. So whatever data that we put in this records, in case of your freight information system, because that provides them the necessary information to record the details about the freight that is traveling on the tracks. So Indian Railways operates over 2 lakh wagons and rakes to move millions of tons. So this information gets captured in a freight operating information system. Then we have the crew management system, which gives the information about activities over 50,000 railway crew members across locations in India. The crew input in their details using the various terminals at over 140 locations provides information about the movement of the engines, the locomotives and all, and with that this data is aggregated to form the reports. Now we have another information system which is used by railways, is the integrated coaching management system. So in that system, the Indian Railways is able to improve the train arrival time accuracy by 10 to 15%. So now it has to be some technically sound application which provides the railways the necessary information about their passenger movement in trains, and it gives the input for them so that they could maintain the efficiency level at a higher stake. Now let's talk about data. Now what is data? Continuously you are using the railway reservation system to book tickets, the fleets are moving, so everywhere data gets captured. And then as per your requirement, you try to process that data, and finally after processing, what you get is a piece of information for you. Now let us see, when we are booking a ticket, so what are the information we need and what are the data that we put in. So we put the source, the station, the target station, then we talk about the seat availability, and finally it gives to give me an particular time and date when a seat is available, and that too at what price. So now ticket cost, seat availability, these are the information which comes out after processing the information of the source station and target station on a specific date and time. So let's say this is the data which one has to put in about their personal details, and finally what comes out of from the system is the availability, and finally you get your tickets booked. Now what you do in that, you give data, and that same data is for producing the information, and the information is sent for further processing in generation of reports. So now after data collection, so we can identify that how many passengers have traveled in a zone for a particular time period, on which train, what has been the revenue, or delivered details are prepared consuming the data that has been collected through the ticket reservation systems. Now those data which we are creating and which is processed with information is punched into a database, which is used for further processing and which could be consumed for future use. Now next important question is how you are going to measure the data. Data gets stored into a computer memory in the form of 1 and 0. So essentially in the computer memory, the bits is the unit of data. So 8-bit comprises of 1 byte, and the array is stored, or the text or string is stored in the form of word. So there are a variety of processing speed available in the systems from 16-bit to 32-bit to latest we are working on 64-bit computing. Now if I see, there are various measurement of data. So from unit size, if we move on from 1 kilobyte or 1 KB amounts to 1024 bytes. And similarly 1 MB goes for 1024 to the power of 2 bytes. Similarly 1 gigabyte would be 1024 to the power of 3 bytes, 1 terabyte would be 1024 to the power of 4 bytes, 1 petabyte would be 1024 to the power of 5 bytes, and finally 1 exabyte would be 1024 to the power of 6 bytes. That is the measurement, and every time it is the memory that needs to be measured for storing data. In this video, you learned that data is a raw collection of facts. The word raw indicates that the facts have not been processed in any way. Data and information are often used interchangeably, as information can be treated as raw data that is used for further processing. The raw data and the information produced from it are stored in software programs called databases in the internal storage of the organizations. Finally, data is stored in computers in ones and zeros. All data is stored in this manner. It is also transmitted as 1 and zeros. In this video, you understood the distinction between data and information.